There we go. So, yeah, it is now episode 5 of Talking the Tale, Blunders in the Tundras. I have remembered to change the title. Thank you.
This time.
Yeah. And picking up from where we left off, this is talking about episode 19 onwards. This was where you guys had taken the rogue wizard back to the town, and the understanding realization of that your NPC friends are not coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world.
I remember when it was happening as well, and I did kind of panic a bit because obviously, I think as Michael pointed out in the last one or recently when we've been chatting, we didn't stop the teleportation circle.
No.
And then obviously we were, as players, we were seeing that this was going down, but the characters didn't know. But we said we'd check in, and so when I got that sending spell back, I was like, shoot.
Yeah, because I was pretty sure in the moment that I described it as a teleportation, and I don't know if it was just misheard me, didn't hear me, or like you guys heard it and then just forgot.
Yeah,
Forgot.
You forgot.
'Cause teleportation circles are pretty obvious,
Yeah.
whether your character knows it or not. It's like, yeah, everyone knows what a teleportation circle is.
This is
And we
it.
could have just rubbed it out, or broken it.
Yeah, crack the stone it was on.
Yeah.
That's what we did with the one in Balas.
You are.
Is sorry, I had to make sure I was pronouncing that correctly.
You didn't.
afterwards.
It's
I'm
not.
sorry, is it actually phallus?
Yeah.
Because that's weird, mate.
Yeah, it is. Archmage
Okay.
Thalus.
Cool. And so yeah, because we destroyed that one in Bug's home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it was just the plan. Obviously, we were kind of preoccupied with because it was really difficult. Because even I think at that stage, Michael was saying about as Evan that we could just go under the trees if we covered him up properly. And obviously, as players, I don't know about you guys, but it just means he's a bit sensitive. He can technically walk in the sunlight. We were just being over the top about it. But as characters, you know, you're thinking, don't know. We hardly knew anything about this mushroom dude. So
Yeah, and he explained that it would hurt him if he went outside.
exactly. And after the treatment that he'd been given, don't know about anybody else, but I didn't really want to go down that route as Cass. Because Cass is obviously very caring, I guess.
I didn't want to go down that route as Cass. I wanted to go down that route as Evan.
Because they're very different characters. Even though we did have a couple of twin moments again this past session, but we'll get to that in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I got that sending spell, I was like, oh god. And then I think this is the first time when Cass and Everton decided not to tell the group.
One of, yeah.
It's the first time we told them something to do with what's happening in the party.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I obviously we haven't described our backstories or anything like that, but there's a very good reason for that. But obviously, intentionally, this was the first time I think that we excluded important information. Purposely didn't tell people. I mean, how did you know, Adam, Matt, I had to remember your names then because Danny has messed me seriously up. Yeah. How did you guys feel about that? Obviously, when we decided not to tell the other members, what's going through your head?
Be very secretive.
Yeah, out of character, fully understand.
Yeah,
So
understand.
I will punish you with Grey Tail. Grey Tail's not happy.
Oh no.
Oh, I get that impression.
I'd say, well, when we did
But
it,
yeah, I get it.
yeah, when it happened, I knew no one was going to be happy with us doing it, but at the same time, could you honestly say we could have trusted you to
Did
act?
you explain why? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the two adults and then everyone else is a child, basically. So we are a lot more rash, a lot more just kind of throw ourselves at stuff.
You're the typical underdogs, I think, sometimes, and that's not a pun because you're actually a tabaxi.
The cat.
It's not a cat.
Do you know what I mean? It's not that you're children. I just think you're more. You want to do the right thing, no matter the consequences. Sometimes it seems from from my point of view. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems like. I mean, when we first met you, Greytail came running into a room with a bone devil and was just like, "I'll punch it."
Punch the devil in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else would have just been like, "Oh, I'm not going in that room," and yeeted themselves out a window. Like,
Not today.
Satan.
Yeah, he's established that if something looks dangerous, he wants to be involved. It's like, yeah, I want to have a go at that.
Would you say then, if you said that Clarissa and Argyle were in some serious danger, people are siphoning their powers, they've been captured, that you wouldn't want to go running towards it immediately?
Oh, yeah, I would.
Exactly. What about you, Adam? Or Liam?
Oh, would you?
Yeah, you want to go rescue him pretty much straight away, but
Yeah.
the information he had at the time, he couldn't really locate him anyway.
No.
Yeah, but to be fair, we wouldn't have found them unless we could figure
No,
out that they did come through the teleporter.
it probably would have been, your energy would have been wasted panicking, like
Yeah.
hitting a wall, proverbial wall.
Exactly. I think that's
So yeah,
it.
the two calm, calculating characters kind of went. Yeah, there's no point telling them yet because there's nothing we can do, and if we do summit, probably just going to kill us all anyway.
I think this is why we waited until the moment when we told you guys. But that's in a future couple of weeks. Or is that like a week away? I don't know. Time's funny in D&D.
Yeah.
And then I know Carl isn't here. Is Carl here actually?
No.
No.
He's on holiday.
He's on his hollybobs. I think this is the moment as well where we. So once we've had that sending, we went to go and find the burial place of Persephone's dead.
Yeah.
That was also just before.
We got the boat.
Well, no. You got word to return to Fjöldamore and Brundle
Yeah.
summoned you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got,
Just before you
Good
left
thing.
was when you went for the burial. Well, not the burial area,
Yeah.
but where the body of Persephone's boyfriend was last known.
because we basically were like, okay, well, we need a little bit more time before we can go. So, what stuff have we got to look into while we're here?
Mm-hmm.
Went there, looked into that.
Found out that the body was
It
not
was
there.
empty?
Yeah, the cave where her partner was empty.
Oh, what's everyone's theory on this? Because I think
Eaten by wolves. A corpse in a cave, eaten by wolves, clearly.
that is Occam's razor's answer. Like,
Occam's what?
In a fantasy Archon's Razor,
What's that?
the simplest answer is usually the truth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that before.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simplest answer is usually the truth. I
Yeah, in a fantasy world, and this is clearly some sort of character
backstory.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Greytail just thinks eaten by wolves. That's a dead end.
See, I'll tell you what Cass thinks it is. I think he's a revenant now. Murdered, gone walkabout. Either he's been. I mean, that's looking on the negative side. He might have been raised by some kind of cleric or something, but they would have to be high level, and then he's wandering
I
around.
mean, the absolute simplest way to think of it is that he got tired of Persephone and decided to fake his death to get away from her.
Oh.
Did she see him die? Do we know? I don't know.
As far as she's told you, yeah.
She said that she buried
She
him.
said. Ah.
Yeah, Persephone was the one who buried him in that location. Because I remember when we went to see the grave, she was repeating it quite a few times.
But no,
No, right.
it's definitely an interesting one. And the thing is, like, I think Rose said it. With fantasy, there is so many possibilities, and yet there's only one answer.
Well, this is it.
Because
I
there's
think it's Revenant,
there's
like-
something as simple as, like Matt said, as just being eaten by wolves. There's something like a wandering cleric, a hag, a god, turned into a spirit of some kind. There's so many different like options.
I will point out, I wouldn't really be obsessed about whatever has happened to this guy if it is that he's still dead, because
Yeah,
he
Cass
is
doesn't like him.
messed up. Sorry?
Yeah, Cass doesn't like him, does her?
No. Well, because we've already established that Persephone is, 26, 27 in Alf years, which makes her a toddler. I don't know how old her partner was, but I think she said he was older.
Yeah, he's older.
What race was he?
Elf the
Was
same.
he an elf?
See, Elf the
He was
same.
an elf as well.
Yeah, and all you know, he was older than Persephone, but by how much you don't know.
It just
900 years.
could have been.
Could be.
But he would know how young she would have been. Like, unless he was like, a year older or 3 months older, then it's a bit of a different story. But from the sounds of that, I don't know if it's that Carl's leading intentionally into that kind of storyline, or whether it's just the vibes I'm getting, but he seems like he was at least of mental adult elf age.
Well, he did say that when making the character, he didn't realise that a 20-year-old elf would be mentally that young.
But
he thought he was 20 years old, as in a 20-year-old human, when creating. But then once finding that out, he was happy to go along with it. Like, okay, I'm younger than I am.
The other thing is as well, Carl doesn't know too much about his backstory either. He purposely left it super vague. He purposely left it extremely vague. The only thing he was aware of was they had a bit of a romance. They've left their home. He got killed, and it was basically like, go on, I'll catch you up sort of thing. And she's obviously gone to go back looking for him and not found him.
But he's trying to catch up at the moment.
But that's all she knows. Like I said, all of it's my side.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I quite like that. Yeah.
The first half of his backstory, the why he left home and stuff, that was all him. But then all the bits after, like once they got to shore, it's all me.
Okay.
So, I genuinely think it's quite interesting on how people build backstories. Some people will do, a couple of things, but then expand over it over time and add things in. So I'm like pretty sure that in last, session, Greytail's story wasn't that thought through about him joining the gang and deciding he wanted to punch things and someone getting murdered. I don't know, was that? Yeah, I thought it was expanding, and I thought it was brilliant, by the way.
I told you. There's nothing to tell. So,
I think it's really intriguing because now Danny can bring up the previous gang that you technically. This is it. You want to give the DM story hooks and storylines that they can then start to flesh and expand, because that's what I think makes people more invested in the story. Like if you.
But I made Greytail as he just wants to travel around and fight stuff.
Yeah.
That's the be all and end all. That's basically what he is.
But moving on
He's
to
so much more than that now. But anyway, sorry, Danny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, moving on to another. Speaking of like additions of when like Greytail joined, the next major story point was when you guys were going to Fjordamore.
And we met.
The current latest edition, the Derrick.
Well, we were on a ship.
The Derrick.
Traveling first.
Yeah.
And then he was blocking the way. Was he just sat still?
He was coming towards you guys, and then once he got within about 300 foot, stopped. But was purposely blockading the canal so you guys couldn't pass.
See, I'm really in two minds about Derek. I don't know if anybody else does the same, because like as a player, I'm sitting there thinking you could technically decide that he's going to eat us all, or maybe he's an interesting plot hook or whatever. But I still don't know why we decided to take him on.
Because it was cool.
The mimic ship was cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
It's still a mini.
And how he spoke, even though it was through a book, he sounded nice. He's clearly not the most intelligent creature in the world, but...
No, he is.
Wow. Rude.
I just think
okay. He's more intelligent than every other boat in the world.
I understand why Evan wants to use him, because he's a tactical advantage. He can get his places quicker. It costs less.
Well, yeah, that's the main thing. Is it's just that generic costs us probably a lot less than it would be to be renting a ship out all the time, and can get us anywhere on the islands.
Exactly, but then at the same side, because I've been trying to think of it from Cass's point of view, and she's not too fussed either way, because at the end of the day, she likes picking monsters and then trying to make them good. She's done it a few times. I don't know if you guys have realised that sometimes she does this, but the biggest point is, Boomer hates that ship, and we're still hulking it around. I don't understand. I mean...
Yeah.
Does Boomer like it now or something? I don't.
He's kind of got round to the idea, but he's still very cautious. You wouldn't want to be on the ship on his own still.
Which is completely understandable. It was just more so like, it just seemed like we kind of steamrolled over that. I don't know if anyone, not like we steamrolled, I do apologise, it's not the right word to use, but do you know what I mean? It was just like we kind of brushed that away and just carried on.
Yeah, at the time, I think everyone except Boomer was okay with it. But Boomer was really not okay with it.
Yeah.
No.
And we
it
just
it did get brushed to the side a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, how did Boomer feel about it?
Boomer just hated the anything with Mannix. Is like, keep away.
No, I meant, how did Boomer feel about the party just brushing him off and then having him on something that he's scared of and hates?
He wasn't happy at all. But he kind of reluctantly agreed just to
keep the
peace. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going to ask the questions. If anyone else is going to, I will.
No, I appreciate it. It's interesting to know, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people that watch it eventually will be like, I wonder.
I wonder
why he hates mimics so much, or is it just a case of it's a mimic? I mean, I'm still a bit nervy about it, and I do not like the other two as well, the two little ones.
Really?
Just because they, yeah,
Nice.
They seem more like mimics to me than the ship. Like, Merrick seems like a cute monster friend. Does that make sense? But they seem technically could go into evil very quickly. I don't know if it's just me, but
those two are probably more than likely about to starve themselves to death at any second anyway.
Because I've only fed the one book, and the piano's not had anything.
Yep.
So we might have to check up on them.
Well, before they come and try and murder us.
Well, yeah. Or eat Derek, or eat each other, or whatever mimics do.
Yeah, we should probably check on that. It's probably been a few weeks. What's the lifespan? What's the starvation rate of a mimic? Now that makes me feel bad for them, but I'm sorry. Like,
go back and the piano's a whistle.
oh, don't put that thing in your mouth! Like, Jesus Christ.
Yes, blow me.
I will admit it though, from a player point of view, it was really interesting seeing the mimic that was King Damascus. Is it Damascus? I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah, you're right.
Because for like some of us, we've played in Celsia, like the first campaigns.
Yeah,
and
the king at the time was the grandchild of King Damascus.
So yeah, it was almost like, yeah, your grandchild's about to get murdered, mate.
This is long since then.
A little out of character thing, but in terms of the one mimic, if you do want rid of them, you've probably got the perfect person you've encountered last current session to ship it off with. But either way, I'll let you think on that.
Wait, who did we meet? It's all kind of gone into a fuzzy. You know when you're in a game as in
episode 27 is what I mean.
The game that we played on Saturday.
Yeah. But I'll let you guys.
It's currently Monday, 2 days after session 27.
But yeah, one of the mimics might be perfect for someone you met.
Oh, the bard.
There you go.
I like the bard though. I don't want to be giving her mimics. That seems a little bit disgracing.
Yeah, give her the instrument mimic though. But either way.
Like somebody who has lots of instruments.
Yeah, the bard wakes up one morning and it's just tore through all her fucking instruments. He's just like, sorry.
I mean, Derek doesn't know portion control. We're having to teach him it. Like, you're holding a bloody piano. Oh dear.
But either way, you despite protests, the Derek was collected and fed and ensured safety, and he vowed servitude to you so long as you made him content. You arrived in Fjordamore and met with the Skjalls once more. The reason why you'd been called back, it seems, was because a number of her working groups, which you guys were one of, had started to go missing and be killed.
It's the AA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned the assassins of the Atronox, which were the two that attacked you on the Isle of Helvetica, claiming servitude from the Skjalls. It's...
Huh? Sorry, Danny, carry on. I thought you stopped. I do apologise.
I was going to say, out of 11 groups, it seems that you are now one of only 2 groups left. The other group is currently in the capital of the southern region, working on trade agreements.
Yeah. I found that weird. Interesting, don't get me wrong, but...
Which bit? The fact that you're one of 2 left alive, or the assassins?
So yeah, a bit of both of those, because at the end of the day, the assassins seem interesting, the fact that we don't know too much about them, like, they're still another route, an avenue we need to look down to, but that seems like one of the other 3 kind of threads you were on about the other day, that we could have taken.
Yeah, I don't think they're connected to the
magic.
Mysterious Order. Not yet, anyway. I mean, they could be recruited at some point, maybe, but... at the time, I don't think they were involved. They were just something else. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Matt. So basically, you're saying that they're significant, but you don't think they're significant to the current thing you're digging into.
Yeah, the current plot.
Yeah. It's not.
I think they might be an interesting thing later on. Obviously, if this campaign goes beyond the big plot, I don't know if it is that we're going to weave in and out of different plot lines, and whether this is going to be like. So
I mean, I'll be honest.
The big story.
Until
loads of arcs.
Until the last couple episodes, though, you kind of have been towing the line and dipping in and out of major plot hooks, different ones.
I'd assume that if we didn't, solve this problem in the next 4 sessions, would that mean that the campaign ends?
No, but it'll make things much more interesting, because at the end of the day, like I said, the world's going to go on without you guys, whether you interfere or not. And interfere sounds like a bad way, but you know what I mean. So, if you guys are not there and actively dealing with a situation, I'm pushing the plot forward for every other city in the country.
Scenarios are still playing out.
Exactly.
Whether we're involved or
like an example was when you guys were in Haveltur, and Cass saw a party of adventurers clearing out a load of stock from Miss Penelope that looked like wannabe adventurers. That's a different plot hook that's now gone past you guys, and their fate has been decided. Their fate's happened. Whereas if you guys had gone and spoke to them, you could have aided them. You don't know if they're dead or not, but I'm just pointing out, you don't know what's happened to them guys. It could be good, it could be bad. They could be heroes, they could be dead in the mud. You know what I mean? The thing is, there is plenty of things going on. And I like the idea of there is so much to do, but very little time. Like, you can't do everything. Because at the end of the day, if you go over to the left, the things on the right are going to carry on.
I think I might have misspoke. I do apologise. What I meant was, if we completed this main storyline in the next 4 sessions, is that like end of campaign? Or
No,
does it
no. That won't happen. And no.
Yeah. I just meant more for the fact that if it is that because I know you've got other stuff that are going on, and we might interact with other things.
In terms of the
game, if we go very quick, because it can happen. We did it before in Multizora.
I mean, I'll be honest, Rose. In terms of the Secret Society Mage arc, I would dare to say you're only about 20% in.
I understand completely.
In terms of what plans I've got and like twists and turns and curves and kinks, like you guys are only about 20% into that storyline.
Listen, I think it'll be interesting. I do at one stage want to go on the hunt for Ice Golem now, because after Saturday, I'm sorry, but we've got to go and do it.
Yeah, Leo, that was so unlucky. Like, there was a chance. That's why I rolled it. With advantage, because Vim and Mela were helping each other, and double natural one. I'm sorry. But either way, we can talk about that later.
So we managed, so we went back, we informed all the situation.
Yeah, you guys were then, and you guys mentioned about the assassins, and then they give as much information as they could. This mysterious duo of assassins that have been known to plague, and they all have the same tattoo, but it's usually always different people. They always seem to, even when thought to be wiped out, they always crop back up. And you were given fair warning.
It's a title that gets passed on to somebody else.
Yeah. And there's only ever 2 at a time. There's never 3 or 4. And you guys were essentially... Exactly. I kind of went down the Sith Lord and Apprentice type route with it.
Bane rules.
Yeah, but you guys were essentially as well then put on leave because and credit to the Skjalls, they do at least look after their people, because they didn't feel happy sending you guys on work for them with the potential of you being killed, because they're under the assumption that because it's only their workers that are being killed, they assume it's something against them. So they basically cut you off the books for now and basically put you on leave just to kind of get you out of it while they try and figure it out before sending anyone to deal with it then.
I think that's probably another thing for us to sort out.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can always try.
If we're not too busy.
Yeah.
Well, we're not at the moment. I mean, we're still investigating into the magical people, but we've still got to have a cover, if that makes sense, I think. So it might be a route to take.
Okay.
We'll pick it up sometime during the next 3 weeks. We'll create 2 weeks, sorry. We'll create a fight chat away from Danny. Discuss.
Just use the fucking normal chat, you dorks.
Yeah.
To mention, the last time that we said about we had this chat, if people are paying attention, remember when we said we were going to do that?
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the one thing, and essentially with this extra free time you guys had, I know the one thing that Cass was insistent on wanting to do, and he was quite touching actually, was to ride Derek back down to Skjalfa and go and pay tribute to the family of the guard that died in episode 1. Joseph?
What stands for? Because I know when we were doing a map, because I know some of them, the clans are called Skjal, and I can't remember what Skjal stands for.
Skjal's the name of the clan that rules over the entire northern section.
I meant more so we were messing around in Google Translate. Do you remember, Danny? And there is literally, I think Fossil Girl is just frozen town.
Some of them are like that, yeah, because Danny's not creative in that sense.
No, it was because Daddy let me name things and I was going a bit silly.
No, my problem is I can write cool shit, but don't make me name it, please.
Oh no, naming's like my specialty. Michael will tell you, we were doing family trees, and I did mine very quick. I was like that name, da 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 da.
But yeah,
5 generations later.
So yeah, you guys went back south to the town where you guys started in Skelfa.
But on the way, we saw the cloud thing happen.
You did. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So first of all, obviously, circumference of the Earth wasn't explained properly because we don't know how physics works on the Earth.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
We saw something that was beyond the horizon, apparently, but, you know.
Look. Fuckwits.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how far the horizon is.
No, I didn't either. I did not pick up on it until Michael pointed it out.
Michael can fuck off with his math. But without going into that side of things, Rose, would you like to explain the sky thing you saw?
So from what I remember, because it's a little while back, in amongst the clouds there was some kind of something fired up, and then the cloud dissipated, like the center of it did, like the eye of a hurricane. I can imagine it to be a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like when you see in those movies or TV shows when it's like it's right over their heads. That's what I could almost see. If that makes sense, like in my mind's eye.
That's kind of the visual I was going for. So it was like an arc of like solid, like a giant moonbeam, but like more lightningy. It went up and exploded in the sky, and like shocks and like rays of light just went out in like a big ring for loads and loads of distance. And yeah, like it created in the thundery sky, because it was raining and pouring really bad. It created a perfect ring where the clouds had almost been cut out perfectly. And it just left this pure clear sky in the area.
Yeah.
So no, that's exactly the kind of visual I was going for. So I'm glad it got through.
Oh, definitely. It's one of them things. We've said it's happened a couple of times when we're playing various games. We start mind melding. I don't know if there's the best way to explain it. Like in another game, you know, the 4 people sitting, we knew exactly where everybody was sitting.
We'd all imagined exactly where each other was sitting.
Yeah, and we matched. Like sometimes we mind meld, and it's weird. Hive mind. But yeah, so it was along the lines of. I remember when we were sitting there as well, because I think it was on mine and Deer's watch. If I remember rightly.
I can't remember whose watch exactly, but it was on. I know Cass was up and about.
I remember it was Deer because I then messaged Argyle to see if he'd heard the sound, because sound crosses distances in a certain way, and because of the way that the sound was echoing meant that because we were miles away from it and it was like chattering our teeth. The vibrations.
I mean, the eye of the hurricane thing was about 300 miles across, Danny said. So
about that, yeah.
Well, that's it, and we were even further away from that. So for sound to travel that far in that kind of speed meant it was intense. So my thought was that if Argyle could hear the sound, he would be in like a certain area. And I was trying to determine if, one, he was still on this plane or not, if he'd been taken to another continent or stuff like that, or whether he's still in Brielle.
Unfortunately, though, that it didn't work. He didn't hear it.
But then that confirmed 2 things for me, that either he was far enough away, which kind of limited it. It would have been either he's inside the circle or he's outside the circle.
Yeah.
And then it kind of tied in with other things that we discovered in time, like I think it was Evan's theory about it being in a demi-plane of some sort, and then we made connections, and it's kind of like it's the map, isn't it? As soon as you start tying things together, it makes sense.
Yeah, and the demi-plane thing did kind of track a bit more, because you was feeling some resistance. Although the spell was going through, there was resistance as if like something was pushing back, which was the spell travelling to a plane of existence that was not on the one you were on.
It's static on the line, so I think it was all tying into each other. But I remember that Deer was there because he went, what? And I just remember going, oh, Deer doesn't know that. Okay, because I was talking it through with him. And then Deer forgot instantly, so I'm very lucky it was Deer that was with us. Yeah, Deer before, weeks before everybody else. Like, Liam, did you forget about that?
No.
So Deer just has been kept. Okay, so what's going through Deer's mind? I'm just fascinated.
Yeah.
Shiny is a nice columns. That's very, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, it could be like literally anything is going on around. It was like on Saturday, obviously, about there's this big discussion going on, and he's so focused on the screw bottle, and like I just imagine that's literally 90% of it. He's a bit of a Iron Groot character, you know, in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That's what I imagine Deer is. Am I wrong? Like,
to be fair though, that idiocracy though with the bottle saved his ass. But we'll get to that later. But you say,
so did you just forget, or was he just ignoring it?
A little bit of both, I think. He kind of ignored it a bit, but yeah, kind of forgot about it now.
Nice.
Oh dear. But yeah, so you saw this explosion in the sky. You kind of tracked it roughly where you think it may be, which was based on the light and the sound travel and stuff. You think it may be a few hundred feet to the south, and you've basically circled a rough area on the map where you think it may be, which was the cyan circle on the map.
But it's not the magic users, is it? It's something else. We recently found out.
Yeah, we found out.
There is a lab there, so it's probably there.
But reaching.
It was something to do. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah. No, you're right, but I'm kind of pushing it away because we'll get to that when we get to it.
Skipping, yeah.
You're skipping ahead again. Like, it's fine. I don't mind. I enjoy, because at the end of the day, the reason why you guys are jumping all over the place and talking is because you're enjoying the scenarios and settings. So I don't mind. I'm just trying to funnel that energy into what would need to be on. It's fine.
I'm the conspiracy theorist of the group. You know, this has been
I know.
months at this point where I'm like making connections. I think I made a couple of wrong connections, and I might need to redo it a little bit.
But speaking of conspiracy theories, what about when you got to Skelfer to pay respects to the dead child, the dead guard's mother, to find out the mum gave you a weird look of like, son's alive? He was here this morning? The fuck?
I freaked the hell out. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, he's evil, we've got to go and kill him. But that was player Rose, kind of got to figure out what it was, and I was going through like the mental Rolodex and like settled on. But I think because we just interacted with Persephone at her lover's grave and he's gone walkabout, I was kind of thinking that was a connection at that point, and I was like, that's two Ray's bodies, and like, it was only a couple of sessions, I think it was, maybe not even one or two.
And I believe in game, you're probably only talking about 2 weeks.
Days. Yeah.
But, what was even creepier was, because Persephone and Greytail did a stakeout of the family home. Because the mom was like, well, he'll be back later if you want to speak to him. And Cass was like, no, it's fine. But yeah, you saw him, you actually saw Joseph. Obviously, Greytail didn't recognise Joseph because Greytail wasn't there at the time. But yeah, you saw Joseph.
Did we see him at the pub first and he was pointed out at me, or did we just follow?
No, that was after.
That was later.
Yeah, because that was when you decided to confront him. But yeah, he had a dog on his shoulder as well.
Do you want to hear our theory, Danny? Because I think this is probably the perfect time. I'll let Michael do the honours if he wants to.
No, I think you're the one who thinks the conspiracy all the time, so...
Okay. I think... I'm not 100% sure. Well, I thought at the time, I do apologise. I made a connection between Joseph and Theon. I thought the maker of deals has seen another connection to the party in the form of Joseph in the same area where Theon was getting his getting his links and whatever, and go murder this other group of people, which he went and did, though we didn't know that. But it was around about the same area that I thought it had jumped from Theon to Joseph who'd just been put in the ground.
Yeah.
Theon who was about to die in the woods from starvation, made a deal, and then, it was an imp, and so, yeah. That's my conspiracy theory. That's also Cass's conspiracy theory. But,
interesting. Yeah. But, yeah. And,
sorry.
And I know everyone kind of jumped on the thing that everyone jumped on when, like, the different conspiracies, like, he's undead, he's a zombie, he's this, he's that, and, like, people were, like, panicking. The one thing everyone latched on was the fact that there was a dog on his shoulder.
Yeah, dog on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Dog on the shoulder.
Yeah, a young little doggy on his shoulder, and, like, that's the fucking weird thing. Like, not the fact that he was dead and now he's randomly back.
Oh, no. Thing is, so...
Yeah,
dead,
older.
Again, dead and randomly back is not that unheard of in D&D.
But dog on shoulder.
But a dog on the shoulder, that breaks rules of stuff that just needs to be dealt with.
But yeah, and
we asked, like, is it a puppy then? It's like, no, it's a young dog.
Yeah,
like,
it's like maybe 1 or 2 years old.
Like draped over. Yeah.
No, it was sat.
Yeah,
well, that's it. Like, completely with Michael's point, like, what was the dog breed again? Wasn't it like a bulldog or something?
Yeah, I think I settled on like a mix of a French and British bulldog.
Yeah, they get pretty big pretty quickly.
Exactly. Balance issues to start off with. And
this dog seemed to be perfectly fine.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's the point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, coming back from the dead happens regularly in 50, especially if we've got a cleric in the party.
Yeah.
It may be the next few sessions. We've been very lucky that we've not had to use Revivify or anything, but it happens all the time. A dog, a big dog on someone's shoulder, is weird.
And Danny's there like, no, this is a perfectly natural, just random out of nowhere resurrection. Nothing wrong here at all. He's got but by the way, he's got a dog sat on his shoulder, balancing perfectly. We're all looking at it like, we're all looking at you like going, we know it's an imp of some kind.
Yeah.
You reveal already.
Just drop it. Just drop the illusion.
It'd have been less suspicious if it had been walking down the street with the imp in its natural form on his shoulder.
You reckon?
It's weird, yeah.
It's like, that guy's got a literal devil on his shoulder. Oh.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Fuck me.
I even saw its eyes glowing in it, and something to do with the stone floating.
That was in his room, yeah.
Which at first I thought he was talking to the stone, but he's probably talking to the dog.
Well, that's it, but still, glowing lights, all this kind of stuff going on, and Danny was still saying, it's just a dog. Like, I will try and find, because me and Michael at the time were messaging each other, and you can just read it going, I do not know what he's trying to pull.
This is bullshit.
It's like that thing, when you shout at your dog, what are you eating, and he starts chewing faster. That was me chewing faster.
I'm fully aware of that one.
Oh.
It's like, drop it. Just drop it.
But yeah, that take.
Nelly. Don't forget about Nelly.
Oh, the alcoholic gravekeeper, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
Does he know he's been?
Oh, fucking course he does. The second I named it, he responded in the chat. And, for those watching on YouTube, just for the understanding, Nelly is a stream team member of mine, because I have a team of streamers, and also one of my mods, and he likes to make a lot of banter aimed at me, so I thought, fuck yeah, I'm gonna aim my sights at you, bitch. Made him this decrepit alcoholic old grave digger. Which to be fair, he actually responded with he loved it, so he's like, Ugh, okay, whatever.
It was also super helpful. It's like I don't know about you guys, but NPCs usually will either be kind of helpful, as in give you one thing, or they will be very antagonistic towards the group and will either try and wrap you up, not really give any information, or flirt with characters. That tends to be the three things. I don't know if that's experience from everybody, but it's usually, yeah. Like, a good example of that would be, oh my god, what was the fairy thing's name?
The furry thing?
Fairy.
Pixie thing.
The dragon.
Sajal.
The fairy dragon.
Sajal, yeah. He was an NPC, but he was meant to antagonize the players, right?
He wasn't designed to stay with you guys. He was meant to fuck off, but you kind of took him with you.
Yeah. Just shows irritate your players hard enough, they will try and murder. But anyway, I was getting off topic. But yeah, so I don't know why it was, but me and Michael were just like, yeah, it's connected to Theon, and I think we started conspiracy theorizing as you were having Greytail look through the window.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Yeah.
But what we'll do...
I don't know if it's true, but it made a lot of sense to me in the fact that we were in the area where Theon technically died. I know we were in Theon, but he travelled through that way.
I can see where your thought process went, and I can kind of see why you did it.
Yeah. Also, Imp. It was also the timeline, I think, worked out really well as well, because isn't it that he came back a few days afterwards, wasn't it, or something like that, or a week maybe?
About a week, yeah.
So Theon died
about the same time.
No, a couple of days before that point. But we were in the middle of when Joseph died. We were a couple of days away, so he would have arrived like literally 7 days afterwards. But Theon died 5 days after, I think, and then 2 days on top for the travel made a week, and it was just like all the time added up really nicely. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I can see your thought process. We'll have to see if you're right or not. But
I don't know. I know we're being told that it's some kind of woman that's trying to stop the injustice in the world.
Keeps a balance.
More like Jace Red than nice hippie monk. I don't know.
Her purpose is to keep balance, and if either side, good or evil, becomes too strong, she beats that one down to its balanced again.
Yeah, it's Judge Dredd. It's Judge, Jury, and Executioner from the sounds of it.
Yes.
But, I mean, it's really interesting. Don't get me wrong. I like Joseph. I don't know about everybody else. I mean, what does everyone else think of Joseph? Because I've spoke a lot.
Yeah, he's decent. We like the idea of him. Be interesting to see how we go forward, especially since we've got another ally that's going to go ahead with helping everything we're doing. He seems to be at least on the same side as us. So us just going like, hey, we want to do this. Like, yeah, okay.
Super helpful. I mean, from just a throwaway NPC as well. Like, it's a really good story, don't get me wrong, Danny. I think it's amazing that, some throwaway guard is now a warlock. And his ability with the crossbow and Eldritch Blast, like, dude, that's just cool. Like, that's just cool.